If you've ever wondered what the future of global finance will actually look like beyond the hype, beyond the tweets, this might be the most important story you hear this year. Because what's coming isn't just about price charts or speculation. It's about control, infrastructure, and who gets to decide how value moves when the legacy systems begin to fail. Right now, two powerhouses are quietly positioning themselves to dominate the future of money: XRP and Quant. Both have incredibly different approaches, but their ambitions are strikingly similar. Each one wants to be the backbone of the next financial era. But the question is, who's actually closer to making that happen? Let's start with XRP. Born out of Ripple Labs, XRP wasn't designed to be just another cryptocurrency. It was created with one singular mission: to make global payments faster, cheaper, and frictionless. The idea was, simple banks and financial institutions needed a better way to send money internationally, and SWIFT wasn't cutting it. So Ripple proposed a solution where institutions could use XRP as a bridge currency. Instead of converting dollars to euros through multiple intermediaries, you could go from dollars to XRP to euros all in seconds with near zero fees. That's a massive upgrade. Ripple's strategy was institutional from day one. They went directly to banks, payment providers, and central banks. They built RippleNet, a payment network that could rival SWIFT in both speed and cost efficiency, and it worked. Ripple has now partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Santander, Bank of America, and SBI Holdings in Japan. They've conducted pilot programs with central banks like the Digital Pound Foundation and the Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan. And despite their ongoing legal battle with the SEC, they've managed to keep expanding globally, especially in Asia and the Middle East. But XRP has its challenges. Its close ties to Ripple have been both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, the company's business partnerships have driven adoption. On the other, that centralization has led to regulatory scrutiny. The SEC lawsuit, although recently swinging in Ripple's favor, still caused years of uncertainty. And then there's the question of utility while RippleNet adoption grows. How much of that actually translates into demand for XRP itself? Now let's talk about Quant. If XRP is the rocket, Quant is the launch pad, and more importantly, the control tower that connects every system involved. Quant isn't trying to be the payment rail. It's trying to be the universal layer that connects all of them: crypto, CBDCs, banks, DeFi, tokenized assets, everything. That's where Overledger comes in. Overledger is Quant's core product, and it's not a blockchain. It's a blockchain operating system. Think of it like the internet for value. Overledger allows different blockchains, even legacy financial systems, to interoperate. A central bank issuing a digital currency on a private network, a DeFi protocol running on Ethereum, a tokenized real estate asset on Polygon. Overledger can connect them all, securely and seamlessly. That S, not a small claim it, S, potentially the most important piece of infrastructure in a fully digital financial future. What makes Quant stand out is that it doesn't rely on a single blockchain or even a decentralized model like most cryptocurrencies. It was built with compliance in mind. That's why it's ISO 20022 ready. That's why its founder, Gilbert Verdian, spent years working with governments, cybersecurity agencies, and global standard organizations before launching Quant. He understood that for true institutional adoption, the system had to speak the same language as banks and regulators. That's exactly what Overledger does. Quant's token, QNT, serves as the key to this entire system. Enterprises use QNT to access Overledger's network. Developers stake QNT to deploy applications. It's not about speculation, it's about access. And because supply is fixed, increased usage could lead to strong price fundamentals over time. Now, here's where things get interesting. Both XRP and Quant are targeting the exact same endgame: global financial interoperability, but their methods couldn't be more different. XRP is building payment corridors by integrating its token into financial institutions. Quant is building the roads and bridges that allow all financial systems to communicate, regardless of what token or protocol they use. This difference is massive. XRP wants to replace parts of the existing payment system. Quant wants to connect all of them and make them work together. That's like comparing a delivery truck to the GPS that controls every route in the city. Both are valuable, but one controls the bigger picture. As we look deeper into their ecosystems, their use cases, and their partnerships, we begin to see just how differently they are positioned for what's coming. This isn't just about the next bull run. It's about which technology becomes embedded in the very fabric of money as we know it. And we're only getting started. Now that we understand what XRP brings to the table, it's time to dive into Quant Network and its native token, QNT. While XRP is aiming to reinvent cross-border payments, Quant is taking a completely different approach, one that may just redefine the very backbone of financial infrastructure. Quant was built with one mission in mind: interoperability, and not just between blockchains, but between entire systems, government platforms, legacy banking software, corporate infrastructures, and decentralized networks. It's not trying to replace banks or old systems like XRP is often perceived to be doing. Instead, Quant wants to connect them all, making communications seamless, secure, and scalable. At the core of this vision is Overledger, Quant's flagship product. It's the world's first blockchain operating system, allowing different distributed ledger technologies to interact with each other. Think of it like the TCP/IP protocol that powers the Internet, an invisible framework that allows different systems to talk to one another effortlessly. Overledger doesn't compete with existing blockchains, it empowers them. Banks, governments, and corporations are increasingly realizing that they don't need dozens of isolated blockchain networks. They need a system that allows them to utilize the best features of each without abandoning their existing infrastructure. That's where Quant comes in. Overledger lets institutions plug into multiple blockchains at once while maintaining compliance, security, and control. It's a solution tailor-made for the enterprise world. So, how does QNT token fit into all of this? Unlike many utility tokens that fluctuate in relevance, QNT is vital to the very operation of Overledger. It acts as a license fee for developers and enterprises to access the network. Every institution that uses Overledger needs to lock up QNT, creating a long-term demand. And because supply is capped at 14.6 million tokens, similar to Bitcoin's hard limit, scarcity plays a critical role in its valuation model. What's even more compelling is how regulatory-friendly Quant is. While many projects try to avoid the reach of regulators, Quant has done the opposite. It's ISO 20022 compliant, which means it can be integrated directly into traditional financial messaging systems used by banks worldwide. It's already partnered with central banks, government entities, and major financial institutions in Europe and Asia. Now, let's take a step back and compare both ecosystems. XRP versus QNT. XRP wants to transform global payments by replacing outdated systems like SWIFT. It's fast, cheap, and highly efficient. But it's also been entangled in legal battles with the SEC, which has slowed its momentum in the US, though it continues gaining traction internationally. QNT, on the other hand, isn't trying to disrupt the system, it's helping it evolve. Instead of replacing SWIFT, it helps integrate SWIFT with blockchain. Instead of fighting the banks, it's working with them. It doesn't aim to be the center of every transaction, but to be the invisible layer that powers all of them. Their strategies are polar opposites, and that's exactly what makes this comparison so compelling. XRP is like Tesla, fast-moving, controversial, aiming to disrupt. QNT is more like Cisco, quietly building the highways and bridges that everyone else uses without even knowing it. And when we think about which one is more likely to power the future of global banking, it really comes down to this. Do you believe the world will adopt a new system entirely, or evolve the one we already have? Let's talk adoption. XRP has over 100 partnerships with banks and payment providers worldwide, including Santander, SBI, and PNC Bank. It's already being used in cross-border corridors in Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America. Its liquidity hub is gaining interest, and XRP has even been trialed for central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. Quant, meanwhile, is working behind the scenes with government agencies, enterprise giants, and even the Bank of England. Its CEO, Gilbert Verdian, helped shape the ISO TC 307 standard for blockchain interoperability. The tech is solid, the connections are strong. The growth, while quiet, has been strategic and deliberate. Investors often overlook QNT because it doesn't have the same hype machine behind it as XRP. But in terms of utility, compliance, and integration with existing systems, it might just be the most mature project in the entire space. As we head into a future driven by digital currencies, tokenized assets, and interconnected financial systems, both XRP and QNT offer critical solutions. One aims to be the engine of a new system. The other wants to be the bridge for all systems. Both are ambitious. Both are needed, but only one may become the heartbeat of global banking. But what if the future isn't defined by just one winner? Imagine a global financial system where interoperability and liquidity aren't competing goals but complementary pillars. That's where the discussion of QNT and XRP transcends rivalry. What if both assets, in their distinct lanes, help build the same superhighway for the future of finance? Let's start by revisiting what each of these assets is truly optimized for. Quant's QNT token doesn't aim to be a currency or medium of exchange. Its purpose is more foundational. It powers the Overledger ecosystem by granting developers access to network services, enabling them to build and operate multi-chain applications across various blockchains. Quant doesn't just support interoperability, commercializes it. It allows financial institutions, central banks, and enterprises to easily connect existing infrastructures to blockchain networks without replacing what already works. That's why governments and private banks are interested. Overledger isn't trying to disrupt their systems, it's giving them a secure, compliant bridge to upgrade them. Now flip to XRP. XRP isn't about app development. It's about liquidity, speed, and cost. Built for seamless value transfer, revolutionize with XRP at its core offers cross-border payment solutions that are faster and cheaper than traditional SWIFT wires. Banks don't need to hold foreign currencies in nostro accounts anymore. Instead, they can use XRP as an on-demand bridge that frees up capital, eliminates friction, and speeds up settlements from days to seconds. That's not a theoretical pitch. Major financial institutions in Japan, the Middle East, and Latin America already use Ripple's technology for real-world payments. So what we're looking at isn't a coin toss between two cryptos. It's a future where both assets are instrumental but in vastly different roles. Quant could dominate the infrastructure layer, XRP could dominate the liquidity layer. And just like TCP, IP and HTTP coexist on the internet, QNT and XRP could coexist in a new financial Internet 1 protocol, powering how systems talk, the other powering how value flows. But let's ask the bigger question. How close are we to this future? The global regulatory landscape is evolving. The EU's MiCA regulation is setting the stage for compliant crypto innovation. The US is inching toward a framework that separates utility tokens from securities, and institutions from Goldman Sachs to the Bank of England. No longer dismissing crypto, they're investing, testing, and building. CBDCs are coming, tokenized assets are growing, and the need for trustless, interoperable, and liquid infrastructure is accelerating. And in that momentum lies the opportunity. Investors often think short-term, what will moon next month? But the real edge is understanding which assets are being positioned to solve trillion-dollar problems 5 or 10 years down the line. QNT isn't trending on TikTok. XRP isn't the latest meme play. But both are being quietly embedded into the architecture of a financial world most people don't even know is changing. So where does that leave us? If you're looking for the next 100x, maybe these aren't your plays. But if you believe that the global financial system is moving toward tokenization, interoperability, and instant cross-border settlement, then QNT and XRP aren't just speculative assets. They're infrastructure. They're leverage points in a transformation far bigger than crypto itself. And here's the kicker. This transformation won't announce itself with fireworks. It will happen silently behind the scenes. Governments will integrate Overledger-like systems without a press release. Banks will start routing settlements through revolutionize before the public even notices. By the time the headlines arrive, the real opportunity might be long gone. That's why understanding the fundamentals, the partnerships, and the real-world use cases before they become common knowledge is the edge that separates speculators from visionaries. So now I leave the question to you. In a world where banking is being rewritten, where blockchains become as critical as routers and protocols, who do you believe will be at the core of this revolution? Will it be QNT, laying the invisible rails connecting legacy systems to blockchains? Will it be XRP, moving trillions across borders in seconds? Or will it be both quietly building the rails and pipes of a system most people want to see until it's already everywhere? If this video gave you a new perspective, subscribe now to Wealth Unlocked. We dive deep, not just into price predictions, but into the technology, regulation, and macro trends shaping the future of finance. And I want to hear from you. Comment the word infrastructure below. If you believe that true value lies in the tech the world will rely on, not just hype. This is Wealth Unlocked, and we're just getting started. Before we wrap up, I want you to take a moment to reflect on the incredible shift we're living through. It's not just about technology. It's about trust, control, and how we choose to interact with the systems that govern our money, our identity, and our future. XRP and Quant are more than just digital assets. They're competing visions of how the world might run. One offers seamless cross-border speed and liquidity. The other promises to connect entire ecosystems through secure interoperability. In the end, the choice isn't just about which coin will rise faster, it's about what kind of future we want to build. Do we want speed and efficiency now, or the infrastructure for something bigger, more interconnected, and long-term? This is why staying informed is more important than ever. The ones who understand these systems early won't just benefit, they'll shape the outcome. So if you found value in this deep dive, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started. Every week on Wealth Unlocked, we bring you insights that cut through the hype and show you what's really happening in the world of finance and crypto. Drop a comment below with the word connect. If you made it this far, let us see who's really paying attention to the future. And remember, in this new economy, the best investment you can make is in your understanding.